We're going to start with Emma, with Emma's first pick for this week. There are 5 picks each, and then we're going to argue about how terrible they are. Emma's first pick is a company called Equinor. All right. I know a little bit
Equinor.
about, yes, Equinor.
Is that
Um,
the is that a gym? Is that a fitness center?
Equinox, very
that's
close.
Equinox.
Equinox, and not to be confused with Equifax, which lost all of your data
Mm.
about 5 years ago. This is Equinor.
Jerks.
The Nor stands for Norway, actually. So, Emma, why
Oh,
don't you start us off? Why did you pick this particular item?
Okay, so when I was starting my picking, I happened to have a source in the room who is knowledgeable
Oh,
about
cheating.
what's that
environmental things.
source? Siri?
It's she will remain anonymous. However, she
Oh,
does have an education to back up her knowledge, so I do feel as though I can trust it.
This sounds like
And
fake
she
news.
told me that if I were to go for something environmental, I should go for offshore energy, so offshore
whoa,
wind
this is
farms.
okay. Who is this friend
So
of yours?
don't worry about it.
Okay.
None of your business. These are my sources. Don't try to
Okay.
infiltrate my network.
She's like the Jim Cramer of free float media sources.
No,
Anyway,
you are. Yeah, go ahead.
it's true. Um, so I did some looking into offshore, and sure enough, many pundits are saying that it is going to be one of the fastest growing sectors
Oh
of
my
the
God.
alternative energy sector.
Okay.
And they just signed on to a bunch of really big projects. So they just signed on to a Shell project to build a massive
Oh my
green
God. Emma,
hydrogen.
what have you turned into? You,
I'm
you've turned
sorry.
you've turned into a full-grown capitalist pundit.
One show later, Emma's totally
She,
deep into
she's
market
got the bifocals
penetration.
on.
She's
The BMW is idling at the curb.
And anyway, they also got a contract to build a huge solar farm in Brazil, and BP just bought a 50% stake in 2 Equinor projects in the
Oh.
US.
Wait, on yesterday's show that we recorded, weren't you scoffing at the company's Shell?
Oh, absolutely, I was.
Okay, okay, I'm confused.
That doesn't apply. This is a different
Okay,
show.
sure.
all right,
Okay,
Damien. You
shut
clearly
up.
do not like any of this. What
No,
is
I'm
what
not.
is going
I
on?
just like. I'm just talking.
Okay, so a couple of things just to note about Equinor. So they're a state-owned company. You know that, right?
Yes.
They are.
68% is owned
She
by
I
the
think
knows
it's
state.
now.
seven. I think it's 74% owned by the Norwegian government. So it's effectively an investment in Norway. Oil and gas is actually 18% of Norway's GDP. Equinor is an oil and gas company, although they do a lot of renewables. They're primarily revenue driven by oil and gas. That they're getting offshore of. They're also getting offshore of Norway, where there is oil and gas in the water. Um, and oil and gas is 62% of Norway's exports. So this is a lot of Norway needs Equinor kind of stuff. And the independent board members actually all, or not all, but mostly also worked for Norwegian government entities. So they're not exactly independent. Do you feel good about any of those things? Like you feel good at being in oil and gas in Norway? And I don't think it's the
Okay.
worst pick. I'll tell you, all the
Mm.
woke data providers love Equinor. All of them. They love them. They love it.
Uh,
So
I'll
Well,
say. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, Damien.
I'll say this. Here's what impresses me right off the bat. Norway has a mandate, right, for women on the boards, 40%. It's a
Mm-hmm.
world-leading mandate. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the first country to have a mandate, I believe, right, Matt?
I think so. Yeah.
Uh, this Equinor
I have no idea.
has Equinor has 36% women on the board, so it's actually below the mandate. 4 out of 11 board members are women. So I don't know how they pulled that one off.
Wow. Well, because they are Norway. They're 74%
So
country
right, so
owned.
they just got the government to look the other way on this one.
They went through a reshuffle recently, if I'm not mistaken. So
Look
that
at
might
that.
not be a permanent situation.
Look at
Um,
look at that.
what?
This is what happens when you give Emma a source and a Google, and pretty soon we're talking about Equinor. So
It's true.
So you want to buy Equinor? I don't have a lot of reasons not to buy it, except that
It's fine.
oil and gas is like a stranded asset, right? Like this is a short-term play in effectively destroying the universe that we live in, right? That's pretty much
Wait.
what we're doing.
Is it going to be a short-term play though? Based on all the research I did, every major oil and gas company is trying to convert to renewable energy for the most part, and they have the infrastructure and finances to do it.
What do we know the percentage of their revenues that go to oil and gas compared to everything else?
It's a majority of their revenue.
Majority. So this is an oil and gas company. This is not a
It's
renewable
an oil and
company.
gas company. No, it's
Okay.
not a renewable company. We already bought one of those last time.
Right.
And they
I
also
think it
had a
did
tremendous
bad.
amount of oil and gas.
I don't know. I got to be honest with you. At first, I was into it. I liked the way Emma. You did a good job here. Really,
Thank
you did.
you.
You almost convinced me, but I keep staring at the screen and I keep seeing things like Shell, BP, Netherlands, and I don't like it anymore.
That is called deep analysis from an
Yeah.
ex-analyst.
And below the 40% mandate, I don't like that they got away with that. I'm gonna pass.
We're
But
gonna buy it.
I think Matt's gonna say yes. So
We are going to buy it. We're going to buy
Look
it
at
for
him go.
$2. We don't have
Sorry, Emma,
Damien's approval on it. Market order for $2 received. We are going to own Equinor at some point today. So congratulations, Emma. Congratulations on the board again. And if your track record is anything to be respected, it's not.